stairway, and her feet clumped on the wooden slats as she made her way into the damp cave below. The others were already there, sitting in a circle beneath flaming torches, around a scarred wooden table. Across one end of it was draped a blue silk scarf, stained with blood or wine, or perhaps someone else's stomach had lost its battle with the tea. No time to think about it, even if she'd cared to. Instead, she made her way to the table, to the straight-backed wooden chair someone had pushed out for her. Someone, she saw, was a 5-foot-tall human parody of indeterminate sex, wearing a belted garbage bag and white face paint. Heavy black rims surrounded its beady, pupilless eyes, and its voice was barely more than a dry whisper, like a knife cutting through cardboard.
"Sit ye down, little miss," it rasped. "Sit ye down, and the Lady Witch, she'll be out."
The Lady Witch was Madame Lupita, formerly known as Irene Lowe, and as soon as Chess had the evidence she needed, in the form of her own eyewitness testimony and whatever the mini-recorder concealed in her bra picked up, Madame would have a date with a guillotine. The church did not take a forgiving stance on illegal ghost-raising or seances, even fake ones such as Lupita was rumored to run. Rumor, hell. What was about to happen here was obvious, was even more so when a black-painted door opened opposite Chess, and an enormous woman thrust her bulk into the room. Her face was white, her eyes black-ringed, a garish parody of church elder makeup. Any resemblance stopped there. Madame Lupita wore a shiny silver caftan on which were painted various runes and magical symbols. Small pieces of iron hung from it, too small to offer any real protection. Chess supposed they were there for effect, as was the heavy iron and amber necklace around the woman's short, fat throat, or the matching silver turban covering her head. Whatever they were for, Lupita's appearance was obviously what the other people around the table expected. Chess felt rather than heard their sigh of satisfaction, their belief that they'd done the right thing in coming here. For those who couldn't afford to pay a church liaison to contact the spirits of their dead loved ones, amateur seances like these seemed the answer to the prayers they were prohibited from uttering. Too bad they were illegal, which was why Chess was there to begin with. Helping the Black Squad make a case against Lupita meant some extra cash for her. And too bad it was all fake. If Lupita and her ilk were truly powerful enough to raise ghosts, the church would have found them through the tests every child in the world underwent at the age of 14, would have trained them and hired them. Many of them had a glimmer of power, enough to send a shiver through the air and fool their clients, most of whom had no idea what real power, real magic, felt like. Chess did. Knew the feeling, loved the feeling, almost as much as the cool, smooth peace of her pills, or the foggy bliss of dream smoke, or the sparkly, fizzing sensation created by the occasional line of speed. She knew them all, loved them all, because anything that distanced her from reality was a blessing in a world where blessing was against the law. Of course, her drugs were illegal too, but that hadn't stopped her from doing them, hadn't stopped her dealer, Bump, or her, whatever he was, Lex, from selling them. It just meant they all had to be a lot more careful. Speaking of careful, Madame Lupita settled herself at the table, clapped her hands. Something clinked behind Chess. She didn't turn around, but she heard it, soft wings beating the air. A psychopomp. Madame Lupita knew how to put on a show. "All hold hands," she commanded, in a deep, liquid voice. "No messin' eye. Hold hands or they don't come." To Chess's left sat a rake-thin young man. His fingers were sweaty, his face wet with tears as he stared at the picture on the table before him. Chess couldn't make out the image. To her right was the female half of a middle-aged couple, clad in a cheap fake silk dress. Her hand shook against Chess's palm. Lupita reached